Hey neighbors, Chris Wessely here, your friendly neighborhood commissioner. I want to take a few minutes to talk about the Gaslight Village development project. It's clearly the hottest topic in town right now, and I've heard from a lot of you who are confused or concerned about what's really going on. So in this video, I want to do three things really. Number one, I want to clear up some of the misinformation that's been circulating. Number two, explain why I voted for the concept plan. And three, share what comes next in this long process. My hope is that by the end, you'll have a clear picture of the facts and feel confident knowing that I'm working hard for you and the future of East Grand Rapids. Now let's start with the misinformation. You've probably seen the postcard mailer and some stuff on social. And unfortunately, a small handful of people have been spreading misinformation, some of it intentionally, to try to derail the project. Now, it's disappointing to see that this is happening in our community, but I know East residents are smart. I know that you want the truth. So let's get into it. Line number one, developer gets 20 years abatements, taxpayers get the bill. This is wrong in three ways. First, there's been no talks about tax abatements. This was never even on the docket for consideration. Now, maybe they mixed the term up with a brownfield TIF, which is a tax increment funding. These are two completely different things. To save you an hour of me talking about this, if you want to know more, just feel free to DM me, or I'd love to meet you in person at one of my coffee or cocktail hours. Second, even if they meant to say TIF instead of abatement, right, they're still wrong. No one awarded anything yet. We haven't even established the BRA, or the Brownfield Redevelopment Authority, which is really a fancy way of saying a committee comprised of people like you that get to entertain projects like this and decide if TIFs are eligible, and if so, you determine how much to award. And third, taxpayers do not get the bill. If a TIF is awarded to this project, you and I pay zero. Not one penny will be coming out of our pockets, unless we get sued and lose, but that would only happen if we broke the law. More on that in just a minute. Lie number two, no up-to-date traffic study has been done. Completely false. We have conducted plenty of parking traffic studies already. Not sure what else to say here, but maybe they're saying they want a more super detailed, granular, deep dive study on how the final development would affect traffic. Sure, now that's called a traffic impact study. That's different from the preliminary studies we did, which costs tens of thousands of dollars, and that study is going to happen. It's already actually baked into the agreement with the developer, and guess what? You don't have to pay for it. The developer does. Again, nothing out of our pockets. You might be wondering though, hey, why couldn't the traffic impact study be done prior to passing the concept plan? Because in order for a super granular test to be thoroughly accomplished, it needs super granular finalized site details. Otherwise, there would be nothing to effectively study, right? This is why the concept plan had to be passed first. It moves the developer into the next step in this lengthy process, which is to start working on detailed architectural and engineering drawings, renderings, and elevations. This is where they will take the concept plan's 30,000-foot view and bring everything into focus, yielding a more accurate and reliable results. Now, if any studies come back with issues, the project does not move forward until the developer rectifies them. Now, lie number three, we're making hasty decisions. We're moving this along too quickly. Not true. We've been working on this for over a year, and by the city's own project timeline, we're actually 8 to 9 months behind schedule. Now, like everything we do in East Grand Rapids, this has been methodical and thorough. That same care and process is why we have beautiful streets, safe neighborhoods, clean drinking water, top-rated schools, and some of the best parks and trails in the region. Nothing about this has been rushed, and Gaslight Village is no exception. Line number four, the city caved to the developer, ignored residents, and blocked a referendum. That's a big one, and I want to address it very carefully. Look, I want you to know that I have been listening. I hear you, I really, really do. I know you have concerns. I know that change is sometimes scary. And people ask me, hey, what's your opinion on this project? Wondering why I haven't publicly shared my personal thoughts on this yet. The short answer to this is because my emotions don't come before the law. My job is to follow and uphold the law. And in this case, it's zoning and land ownership laws. Now, if I break the law, it's safe to assume the risk of a lawsuit increases significantly. I want to be clear. My position is not swayed out of fear of a lawsuit. I am not capitulating. What I am saying is that I am very aware of the potential consequences for the city if I chose to break the law. I think people are misunderstanding and thinking that this is a brand new project, being presented to us. But it's not. It's actually 21 years old and partially built. The landowner is simply amending their concept plan to better align with our master plan. They're not asking to rezone or change the approved usage. It was mixed use, commercial, residential, and a parking deck then, and it's mixed use, commercial, residential, and a parking deck now. Again, the land use never changed. And this is exactly why it is not a legislative move. It's an administrative one, and thus not subject to a referendum. Now you might be wondering, then how is it possible for the voters 21 years ago to hold a referendum vote on this project? And that is because at that time the city was rezoning the land from C1 to PUD. Thus, it was clearly a legislative move, subject to referendum. The difference is that this time around, we're not rezoning anything. So why did I vote yes? This decision wasn't emotional. It was legal. It's important to mention that I've been having many closed session meetings with our city attorney about this project. And incidentally, our city attorney, John Huff, is a highly respected Varnum attorney who's been serving our city for 40 years. We've also hired a highly decorated expert on PUDs, Paul LeBlanc, to help guide us through this process. It has been made abundantly clear that the concept plan decision is purely a legal one. I am called to verify that the updates still meet all the standards for approval and that it reflects what is written in the master plan, which is the vision of East, a legal document that I am expected to uphold and follow. So here are the 6 key facts I considered. Number 1, the original PUD was approved by voters 21 years ago. Number 2, it did get double rubber stamped by the voters via referendum, 60-40 in favor of the project. 3, because the majority of residents said that they wanted this, the master plan was quickly updated to reflect these changes. Essentially, it was a copy and paste. It even included some of the project's illustrations into the master plan. Number 4, 2 of the buildings proposed are already built. This is where Bodie's and Carolina's Kitchen currently exists. 5, I must legally adhere to the master plan's vision. Now look, our city commission is required to revisit the master plan every 5 years, okay? That means that they had 4 chances to change it. So for example, let's say that after 10 years of passing the original PUD, the residents and the commission changed their minds and updated the master plan to reflect, less buildings at only maybe 2 to 3 stories tall. And let's say it also included a huge grassy piazza right in the middle. Then that would be something that I could have pushed back on. I could have said to the developer, hey man, 10 years went by and the city changed its downtown vision. Your plan is now outdated. Please come back with a concept that better matches the new vision. I could have done that. But the fact of the matter is that it didn't happen. The master plan hasn't changed since it was updated 21 years ago. And by law, I must follow what the master plan says. And number 6, lastly, it meets all 6 standards of approval. Now there was a lot of talk around this, some calling into question the definition of the word character. Now we did review the standards of approval in detail actually at our July 21st meeting, including discussions of character. Now when asked, Mr. J. Giannotti, the city's zoning admin, provided a definition that the city views character in the context as the way the space and surrounding spaces have historically been used. And in this case of Gaslight Village, its character is defined as mixed-use spaces where commerce and residential living meet. This is also reinforced by the master plan and its accompanying illustrations as mentioned previously. So I do find it inappropriate to retroactively repudiate the 2004 City Commission, Mayor, and the residents' decision affirming that the original design and PUD all met standards of approval. This is especially true given that the amended concept plan is an improvement on the original plan, which, if we remember, allowed for a 7-story building without setbacks, no attainable housing, and fewer public gathering spaces. Again, 2 of the buildings in the original plan, buildings A and B, have already been built and constructed. And I believe most would agree that they were built in harmony with the character of Gaslight. So I see no reason to believe the remaining buildings would be any different. Now that's why I voted yes. So now what happens next? Approving the concept plan was just one step. Now the developer begins detailed architectural and engineering work, turning the concept into specific designs and renderings. The project starts over, back at the Planning Commission, and a full traffic impact study and other technical reports will follow. The Planning Commission will then complete a full review before they can vote and move it up to the City Commission. And that's where we will have final say before any construction begins. So this process is far from over, and I'll be following it closely to make sure East Grand Rapids gets exactly what was promised. Now, in closing, I hope this video helps clear up some of the misinformation and it gives you some more better understanding of what my thought process is. I'll always do my best to separate personal opinion from legal responsibility and to make thoughtful, informed decisions for our city. If you'd like to talk more, come join me at one of my coffee or happy hour chats, or feel free to message me directly. And if you do comment below, just remember, I'm your neighbor, I'm a human on the other end here, and I'm just doing my best for all of us here at East. Thanks for watching, and thank you for your continued confidence and support. Go East.